everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of the Online Warriors podcast. My name is Nerdbomber, and I am joined by Techtic.
Hello. How's it going?
It's going great. We have a jam-packed episode for you guys this week because we had a pretty big Nintendo Direct drop in the last few days, and with the Mario 40th anniversary and all of the different game and movie even announcements that they gave us, we just want to kind of dig right into it because there's a lot of ground to cover here.
What's weird is they kind of broke it up into like mini sections for us, which is, I'm going to call it was 3 topics: Nintendo, and Nintendo. That's how I'm going to shake out this show.
Sure. If that's how you want to call it, let's go. All right, so like I said, we're just going to dive right in because there's a lot of ground to cover here. And the first thing that we saw was actually not a game, but the Super Mario Galaxy movie announcement. And we got a little bit of a teaser trailer, nothing like super in-depth, but basically the announcement that this movie will be based in the Super Mario Galaxy realm. So it's going to be in space. They did also announce that they kept the same voice cast, which I'm actually really happy about. You know, we have the return of Chris Pratt, Anya Taylor-Joy, Charlie Day, Jack Black, and the whole gang is all going to come back and reprise their roles in this movie. And apparently it's going to cover both Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 from what they kind of made it sound like. And Techtic, I gotta level with you. I think this is actually a really good pivot. I think it's really easy to fall into the trap of, hey, you know, the first movie was super successful. Let's just continue down the pipeline of your standard Mario game setting. But I think pivoting to space and Super Mario Galaxy, and you get the introduction of all the cutesy little star guys and all that kind of stuff, I feel like it just works really, really well. And it also gives, you know, the animation studio a lot more room to play with because they've already showed that they can, you know, replicate the Super Mario world pretty well. But now can they do the Super Mario universe?
Well, so yeah, one thing you forgot to mention is this is part of the 40th anniversary section of the show. So that's right. As of September 13th, Super Mario Brothers are 40 years old. Happy birthday. Secondly, as far as what's taking place in this Super Mario Galaxy movie is the most important thing. We're going to get introduced into Rosalina. And
do you think, who do you think they're going to cast for that? Because we did not get a voice actor announcement for that yet. They did show Rosalina in another announcement, which we'll get to in a little bit, but we didn't get a voice actor for that. Who would be your ideal voice actor? Kind of putting you on the spot here because we didn't discuss this pre-show, but who would you want to see take on that role?
I'm curious if Google already has someone slated in. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything yet, but gosh, I don't want to suspect anyone, if I'm being honest, because I think Anya Taylor-Joy was an excellent casting for Princess Peach. So for most of the cast, I think they really, even Chris Pratt, honestly, I hated on him, but it kind of worked. So I don't want to get my hopes up for one and then be disappointed. I'd rather just see who they cook with because I think they did a pretty good job on the first cast.
See, so I come prepared with an out of left field pick because I do feel Charlie Day felt like a very obvious pick. Jack Black also didn't really surprise me that much, but it did feel like you said, Anya Taylor-Joy and even Chris Pratt to an extent felt a little bit surprising when they announced it for the first movie. And so I'm going to come in with a hot take and I'm going to say Sabrina Carpenter because she started acting before she really got into music, and I feel like
that's not a hot take at all. That's a solid
that would be pretty
selection.
Good, right?
I would love to see her do more in that space. Just, you know what? No notes. Yes.
So I cooked with that. Okay.
But now,
cool. You're going to be disappointed.
I would be disappointed if it's anyone else. So,
but if it does, if it is Sabrina Carpenter, then we can just say that I am psychic.
That would be an excellent casting. I really hope they do that. Now, the other thing that is interesting is we know that even in the Super Mario Galaxy world, that Bowser is the bad guy. He's always looking to find the next major power-up. And so you can expect Jack Black to still be the major antagonist, and this is going to be a good time. I'm all in for this. I am super duper hyped.
Would you say you're Super Mario hyped? But That's really bad. I'm sorry. Moving on, they did also announce, kind of in tandem with this movie announcement, that Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 are going to be remastered and coming to the Switch in kind of like a package deal. They're both going to be on the same cart in the same game. So this is coming out actually really soon, October 2nd of this year, and there will be new amiibos that accompany this game release, in addition to a storybook, if you're familiar with the game, which I'm actually not super familiar with Super Mario Galaxy, but apparently Rosalina has a whole storybook deal in these games. I feel like Steven is probably like rolling over right now, like, I can't believe you haven't played this. But Rosalina has some kind of storybook, and they will actually be selling that as a real book. And even in the remaster of the game, they're apparently going to be adding more pages to the storybook. That won't be in the physical copy that you can buy, but it's probably, some fun little Easter egg stuff.
I didn't like that.
No?
I did not like, I get, the collectibles and things like this, but a lot of the things in the showcase felt very much like overt capitalism in your face, and it was like Nintendo does a really good job on like marketing their games and feeding their fans, so to speak, but a lot of it seemed almost like cheap chintzy garbage for people to just collect, and I didn't like that.
See, I think the storybook is kind of a neat collectible item. I do think it's kind of cool that they are going to the original storybook and not with the new stuff they're adding with the remaster. I don't know. I'm also a book nerd though, and I really like books, and I could see myself, if I really got into this game, wanting this on my bookshelf. So I don't know. I feel like a book isn't that chintzy, and especially if it's done right, if it's bound super nice, maybe it has some like sprayed edges.
Yeah, but it looked like a children's book. So I don't know. If
you're like a collector though, that might be a cool thing to have, a cool little piece of Nintendo lore to have on your bookshelf.
Fair enough. I'm going to have you pin that thought though when we get to another.
Yeah, there is something else that I'm like, but they also retcon that. You know what? We're going to jump ahead because now I feel like we can't bury the lead here. This is a announcement that kind of comes away from the Mario theme. We'll get back into it. But they did announce that the Virtual Boy will be added to the Nintendo Classics library.
That's not what I was talking about.
Okay, well, we're going to be talking about this right now. We're jumping all over the place. We're a little hectic today. It's fine. There's a lot of news. We're very excited. So the Virtual Boy is being added to Nintendo Classics, the subscription, and in order to play the games in 3D, you're going to need the dedicated headset. And this headset, it's the classic Virtual Boy headset, but you actually put your Switch console in the headset, and that's how it functions. I thought that was gimmicky. I thought that was a wee bit gimmicky. I thought it looked kind of clunky. It looked kind of uncomfortable to play. They did, though, have a cardboard model of the accessory that will make it cheaper and more accessible. Even still, though, like this kind of felt like a gimmick.
I agree with you very much so, mainly because with the Switch's casting capabilities, they should have had this be a standalone piece of hardware that does not risk you dropping it while you're using it and breaking your very, very expensive system. This should not be a slide it into the housing, because like you're manhandling the Virtual Boy when you play it, and someone
I don't know
is
if
going
that's
to.
True. I think you're more just sticking your face in it and then you're using the controllers, but I get your point.
Someone's going to break it and they're going to be very upset.
It honestly, so like we're engineers, and from a stability standpoint, I'm sure they've probably tested the stability of the headset 1,000%. I'm assuming, I'm hoping. But just like the stand that it was on, it looked very top heavy. And I could see somebody getting really excited while they're playing and just kind of like even moving their face forward a little bit and tipping that entire thing over. And then boom, there goes your console.
Also Cardboard Boy. Like, yeah. It's someone's going to break it. And they're just, I don't know. That did not feel good to me. And I would not, I mean, these consoles are very, very pricey, and like kids are playing with them, and they're gonna just very nerve-wracking there. I didn't like this thing. It's cool that you can relive your like Virtual Boy nostalgia. I really did like that part of it, but I just wish they approached this problem a different way.
Okay, so before we get back into the Mario stuff, then you said that was not the gimmicky thing that you wanted to call out. So I'm very curious, what is the gimmicky thing that you really wanted to call out?
So to wrap up the Mario Galaxy side of things, the movie will be releasing April 2026, and the two games are dropping October 2nd, 2025. Right. Another game within this Super Mario 40th anniversary section was the Super Mario Bros. Wonder Switch 2 edition. This includes bunch of new co-op mini games. It's got the Bella Bell Park edition, and it also has showcasing of the talking flower.
Oh yeah, I honestly kind of like brushed right over this because I was like, I don't want this.
And that flower also has a toy that's literally just a non-moving chunk of plastic with just a speaker in it that talks every now and then. Who needs this? It's, again, more just top shelf garbage that is very consumery, and I don't like it. It feels icky.
I don't know. As I'm looking around my desk right now and all of the collector stuff that I own, I don't know.
I get that, but like also, and
it's okay if something's not for you, but it's for somebody.
These are just but small pieces of this showcase. As we continue to go through and talk about these different IPs, there's a common thread, and it's pay DLC. You know, they kept bringing up the pay. It feels like in previous DLCs that it was, and hey, we just dropped this DLC to add to your experience for a free download. Just about every DLC was pay. And
I don't know. So like you're kind of getting all worked up about that, but I feel like free DLC is actually not the norm, and I feel like DLC for the most part in almost 90% of cases. Yeah, I would say. I mean, think about Mario Kart.
Yeah.
Like every new track pack that they released, like that was all paid DLC. I don't think that this is like a new thing that they're doing here. And I think you're just getting a little ornery about it because you didn't like that it was all
back in my day, you used to buy a game and it'd have the whole game in it.
But I would argue that that hasn't been the case in a very long time. I mean, I distinctly remember to get the quote unquote good ending in Mass Effect 3, you needed to buy the DLC.
Did you buy the DLC?
I don't remember. I think I did. I don't know.
That was just my vibe, and you're right. I could be old man yells at cloud, but
you're definitely. But
someone's gotta be angry.
So now to kind of get us back on track, there were also a few other announcements within the Super Mario 40th anniversary section, and one of them is Mario Tennis Fever. So this is actually going to be Switch 2 only, very exclusive to the Switch 2, and this is the follow-up to Mario Tennis Aces. So this game actually introduces some new mechanics. Like at first when they announced this game, I was like, okay, well, we just got a Mario Tennis game. What could you be adding? Like this feels like it's unnecessary and that you just want me to pay for a Switch 2 upgrade. However, there are a lot of new features in this. So they added new defensive maneuvers like dives when you're at the out of bounds line. I don't know what it's called in tennis, but you know what I mean, like the line. And I feel like that's actually very important because not being able to like dive out of bounds and save a ball is one of the banes of my existence in both Wii and Mario Tennis for as long as I can remember. I feel like it's never successful. So having defensive maneuvers like that, I think is a cool addition. But the big, wonder piece of this entire announcement is the new Fever racket mechanic.
These are sweet.
So there's going to be 30 different ability rackets that you can get and equip in this game. And they have various different features. Some like flame shot, which basically makes your, ball start on fire, and then it makes your opponent start on fire as well and run around and kind of miss your next shot. There's an ice racket, which freezes the court. You can shrink your opponents, even duplicate yourself. Like I said, there's 30 different abilities that you can unlock and equip to different characters in the game. And honestly, like this seems really cool and very unique, and this kind of gives Mario Tennis Fever a reason to exist. But I feel like this might piss me off in playing a little bit, just to be honest.
I can see how like the ice one is a really good example. It almost felt like a lot of the power-ups were like unavoidable. And I guess to compare it to another game of like Pokemon TCG, I've been playing this like crazy. There's situations where the opponent draws a hand every time consistently when you're playing the computer, and it feels like it's just this thing that you can never pass. I can see like in this Mario Tennis game just being absolutely just stuck in a rage fit because either the computer has this combination or you have online, everyone figures out Luigi with the Boo racket is just a stupid combination that no one can do anything against. I could see that coming. And that's both the fun and the demise of a lot of these crazy power-ups is people find the secret sauce and then everyone use it and then it loses luster.
And I think in a way to try to combat that potential inevitability, they also added some additional game modes to Mario Tennis Fever. They added, I think it was called Mix It Up mode, which feels a little bit more arcadey. There's different, scenarios that you have to achieve. There's also adventure mode. And this actually I was really excited about.
This looked great.
They basically shrink you down to the baby versions of the characters, and they've sort of added like a story or campaign. And essentially, once you've become baby mode, you forget how to play tennis. And so throughout this campaign and all of these different set pieces, you have to relearn how to play tennis.
But it's like using a tennis racket and ball to solve puzzles.
Right. You're solving puzzles.
Super
you're defeating
clever.
monsters and bosses. And honestly, that's pretty unique and interesting. And I feel like it also gives the Mario Tennis game, again, another reason to be, because obviously there's always, you work your way up through the bracket mode in Mario Tennis. But I feel like having some kind of campaign that uses the tennis mechanic is just really unique and interesting. And I'm actually really excited about that.
Fun fact, if that was a standalone game, I would
play
have bought
that.
it.
Right. And like the fact that it's just an element of the new Mario Tennis entry is pretty cool. So I'm actually really looking forward to that. Also announced a new Yoshi game. And guys, I fucking love Yoshi. I love Yoshi so much. He's such a cute little guy. He's just such a cute little guy. And this one combined.
Can I put you on blast real quick?
What?
I'm shocked that you have yet to play a Yoshi game in your life.
I have played Yoshi's Crafted World. We were talking about this earlier, and if I had played a Yoshi's game, or a Yoshi game rather, and I had said no in the moment, but I did play Yoshi's Crafted World. I think we played that together. So I have played a Yoshi game, and like Yoshi is featured in other Mario games. So like to say that I've never played a Yoshi game is a little disingenuous because I'm always Yoshi in Mario Kart, and you can ride Yoshi in some of the Mario games. Like Yoshi, I've played as Yoshi.
Okay, I'll take back everything bad I said about you.
Thank you. So this Yoshi game is called Yoshi and the Mysterious Book and combines two of my favorite things, Yoshi and books. See what I did there?
That's the news, folks.
Essentially, though, you wander through this book and you discover things. It's like a fun 2D platformer, and you're discovering different creatures, and it just looks like a really cutesy romp. The art style was really cool.
The art style was they had toon shading within the side scrolling of it, and like it felt like the refresh rate was almost like you're reading a flip book. It was done very, very well.
So this is coming out in spring 2026. I believe they said that we would get more information about this as time progresses. And I actually really look forward to this. I mean, Yoshi stuff, like this just felt like really cute and calm and relaxing. And I'm sure because it's a 2D platformer and I suck at those, I won't be cute and calm and relaxed while I'm playing it. But I'm looking forward to this because like I said, Yoshi books can't miss.
You'll be able to handle this.
Yeah, I think so. Moving out of the Mario 40th anniversary stuff, we got a bunch of game announcements as well. Stormlancers is a 2D side-scroller roguelike with couch co-op, and if you hear the words couch co-op, my ears are perked. I'm listening. I'm sat for this.
But I don't know that you're into this type of side-scroller game.
Yeah, I don't know that I am either, because I'm just not into 2D side-scrollers, period. But it did have a neat art style. There were like dinosaur-looking magical creature type things. It looked like you could swap and combine different powers with your partner in co-op to try to do different play styles. This feels like something I would not want to buy at full price, but if it hit a sale, I could see us playing it just to give it a try.
This is and I know this isn't applicable to the Switch, but this is like a Game Pass game to me. Yeah. I feel like the market is kind of getting saturated with side scrollers lately, and I've said this before, it's not a new take or anything like that. So like I would play this because it looks interesting, but I wouldn't seek it out, and there's nothing really in it personally that I felt absolutely drew me in as like this game-changing game. The next thing that was announced, it was a game called Dinkum. And honestly, so imagine Animal Crossing. I'm trying to figure out the best way to describe this. Imagine Animal Crossing, but you're in the Australian outback with a bunch of all of the dangerous wildlife that they tell you exists in the outback. And like he said, they're attacking you. That's essentially what Dinkum is. There is 4-player local co-op, which is pretty cool, I guess. But yeah, this is essentially an Australian outback farming sim sort of thing. And I don't know, I feel like this is kind of up my alley. There's
in this even showcase alone, there was just a lot of like farming sim, Animal Crossing as clones being thrown at me. And I feel like, again, like you said, there's a little bit of an oversaturation point. The fact that this kind of looked ridiculous and that like there were sharks and kangaroos attacking you and I can play it with local co-op with you maybe piques my interest a little bit, but I don't know if this is, at the top of my list.
So going into the next one, this is the one that you can get me to play with. This one at first, so the next one was POPUCOM, and I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong.
No, I think that's right.
But this absolutely piqued my interest. It is a multiplayer game that at first I was like, oh, this is a Splatoon clone because it's like everyone has their unique color.
No, this is not a Splatoon.
No, this looks, I know it's not, but that's what I thought it was.
I know what this game is a clone of though.
What is it?
Do you remember the old, I think it was like PopCap games. It was called Zuma.
No.
And you were a little frog. You've seen me play this, and I believe you've played this as well. You're a little like frog stone thing in the center, and there's a bunch of colored balls moving in a track, and you have to stop the colored balls from reaching the end point by shooting other colored balls.
That's like such a different game mechanic.
It's the same game mechanic though. That's how you beat these enemies. Essentially, you're shooting,
but
like you have
I'm
two...
talking like play style. It's such a different play
No,
style.
I know. When I was watching this though, that's essentially you're taking the Zuma mechanic, and I think this is super clever. Zuma has been like defunct, and PopCap has been gone, I think, for a while. But you're taking that mechanic where you're shooting like color balls at things to, combine them and explode them and get rid of them. And then applying that to enemies in a 3D platforming shooter.
The dragon with the different body segments of different colors. That was such a smart take.
Absolutely.
I'm all in on this game.
Yeah.
I'm so hyped that you're in on this game. Guys, check out POPUCOM because this looks absolutely fun. Get your friends together, pick a different color, and work together to solve puzzles, take down bosses, and have a great time.
I thought it was really interesting too. So this is co-op, both local and online, but this game can only be played multiplayer, which I guess makes sense because you need someone else to have like a different color weapon to get through some of the puzzles. But man, yeah, I was super stoked about this. And I literally, as we were sitting there watching this trailer, I was like, what does this remind me of? And when I tell you, like when I'm comparing this to Zuma, this is not a negative comparison. I used to bike for 45 minutes to an hour and just play Zuma.
Best shape of your life.
I was.
Because of Zuma.
Exactly.
And now, because of POPUCOM.
Honestly, maybe. Let's see. The next game, so this one we've actually seen before, but it was Tomodachi, I'm probably butchering how you call this, Tomodachi Life Living the Dream. And this is, the quirky Animal Crossing type Sims-like game where you're actually playing with your
is an astute comparison.
Well, it looked like in the last time that we saw this game presented, there were more Animal Crossing elements where you're like building your island, but this version of the showcase we saw, it felt a little bit more like Simsy, where you're trying to set your Sims up with, your Miis rather, up with other Miis on your island, and they have different needs and stuff like that. This is such a freaking weird game. Like, I think you were at one point they showed you could shake a tree and like Miis were falling out of the tree.
The one thing
they all talk. The speech was sending me, I don't know.
The speech was disturbing, but the one thing I couldn't put my finger on is this Sims with mini games? It seemed like there were like weird interactions that were mini game adjacent, but it didn't explicitly show that.
I couldn't tell you. Every time I see this game, it kind of just feels like a fever dream with my Miis running around, and I'm not sure how to feel about it, to be honest. I like The Sims. I like Animal Crossing. I like making strange looking Miis. I'm sure at some point I'm probably going to have a couple drinks and be like, let's try this game out. Let's see how weird we can get.
Nope.
No?
I'm not in on this one.
All right.
I do not want to at any point see how weird we can get.
All right. So there are a few games that, have already been out that we saw will be coming to the Switch, like Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection. We won't get into these so much because these games are already out on other platforms, but you have like Final Fantasy VII Remake is going to be coming. There's also stuff like, various upgrades of games that exist on the Switch will be getting a Switch 2 upgrade. There's Power Wash Simulator 2 will be coming fall 25 with local split screen. So all that kind of stuff. But like I said, like Danganronpa 2 is coming back. Dynasty Warriors Origins. I'm just kind of running through these because, we've seen them before in some capacity, and they will be making their way to the Switch. What I thought was actually really cool was Linked Banner of the Spark, and this seemed like a newish game co-op that will actually came out, I think, the day of the showcase. This one kind of actually reminded me a little bit of Cult of the Lamb. So this is a co-op thing where you have like roguelike battles, but then you also had village building elements. And I feel like Cult of the Lamb was one of the first games, I say back in the day, but it's not that old of a game, but it combined those elements where you have your village building paired with, your dungeon crawling roguelite setup. So in that manner, it kind of reminded me of that. And I don't know, kind of interesting. And then moving forward, we also got an extended look and trailer for Hades 2. And I know this game has been out in early release for a while on PC, but we're actually going to be getting the full release, which will be a timed console exclusive for the Switch. And it will be launching on September 25th. If you buy it digitally, there's going to be a physical edition of the game coming out in November for the Switch as well. If you don't want to play it on the Switch, you can also play it on the PC in September as well. But God, I have been waiting for this shit to come out of early access, and I know I'm swearing a little bit here, but I can't fucking wait. This looks so good. You play the daughter of Hades, you take on the Titan of Time, the music is a banger, the art style is a banger. I have held off. I have not played this game in early access because I've been so excited for it, and I want to get the full release authentic experience, and I can't believe it's coming out so soon, and I can't wait to play this. This might get me back into my gaming mode, and you should be scared because this will suck my time.
I'll probably play this. I mean, I like Hades on the handheld, so I'll probably be playing this on the Switch without a doubt. I mean,
I'm really torn if I want to get this because this will not be coming out on Xbox or PlayStation just quite yet. I believe that's coming sometime in 2026. I think that you played it
on Xbox, right?
I did play it on Xbox. I'm torn if I want to play it on Switch or if I want to get it for Steam and get it on the Steam Deck.
I'm going right in on Switch. Melano, I think it's Melano, looked badass.
Okay. So
she's bae. Just like you said, Zagreus is bae. She's bae.
Honestly, Hades can't produce a bad looking kid. And I know these are all like animated characters, but we've established that I think that the lions in The Lion King were hot stuff when I was a kid. And so like animated characters are not off the table.
Listen, I still say we get ripped and be them for Halloween. Yes, they're half siblings.
We have like a month.
Weird.
We have a month. I don't know if we can pull it off this year, but maybe next year if we really start working at it now.
You heard it here first, folks. She is now on the hook for maybe next year.
If I get ripped. That's really all I can promise you.
Deal.
So before we get into the back half of the showcase, because there's still a lot we have to cover, we should go into our break. But before we do, I would be absolutely remiss if I did not shout out our fantastic Patreon producer, Steven Keller. Please take a bow. I know you're probably very excited about this episode because it's all things Nintendo Direct and there's so much cool stuff coming your way. Steven was actually on the show a few weeks ago. That was one of his perks that he gets in addition to this weekly shout out. As our Patreon producer, he also gets access to our monthly secret segment, our monthly video vlog, and voting rights on the topics we cover for those things. If you want to be as cool as Steven, I know I sure do. He's a pretty cool guy. Head on over to patreon.com/onlinewarriorspodcast. There's 3 different tiers of subscription levels. Each tier gets you a different array of goodies and perks. But no matter what tier of subscription you might choose, you get the warm, fuzzy feeling of knowing that you're helping us keep the lights on here at Online Warriors Central. So thank you again to Steven. And now we're going to get into the break.
Hey, this is Ken M.
Padawan J.
Coach Duffy.
From the Ocho Duro Parlay Hour podcast. Every week, the ODPH is talking sports, movies, TV, comics, and more. It's always a parlay of topics on each episode. You can find the ODPH on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, Podbean, and wherever you find great podcasts, such as the one you're listening to right now. Don't forget to check out OchoDuroParlayHour.com, where you can find the links to all of the ODPH social media accounts, links to the bands whose music you hear each week on the show, hashtag 607 podcast info, and parlay points, our companion blog section of the show. Thanks for listening to the ODPH. Now get back to your regularly scheduled podcast.
All right, and we are back. Like I said, we have a slew of additional announcements that we saw in this Nintendo showcase, and I'm ready to dig in. So, Techtic, you and I actually played the last Hyrule Warriors game, and you were not really about it.
Yeah, I don't think it plays well as split screen co-op. I think it really shines when you just play alone. And I know that's a weird
Rude.
take coming from me. It really is. But the timing and like pairing of like your partners in that game, it works really, really well when you're solo. It doesn't jive as a standalone. That said,
I think there were also a lot of issues, especially like this was on the Switch 1 architecture and everything. There were a lot of like frame rate drops and stuff. Like when there were a lot of enemies on the screen, I remember we had a lot of like stuttering issues trying to play it couch co-op.
that said, I feel like the overall Hyrule Warriors combat methodology, it just is not as satisfying as some of the other installments like Tears of the Kingdom, because the Hyrule Warriors franchise, they do like a horde battle and you have to wipe them out, and then it's like da-da-da, you did it, and it's not satisfying to me. I like kind of the stealth approach of sneaking up on my enemies and taking them off guard and them losing sight of me. I don't like just constant combat in my face. I like to have a little bit of strategy to it. And so just having hordes come at you makes the combat for me feel kind of repetitive. And to be completely fair, while they said in this trailer that, oh, you only saw the surface of what happened in Tears of the Kingdom, this is going to be an in-depth look, it's really not that deep. I can promise you, it, in my opinion at least, Tears of the Kingdom gave me exactly what story happened and how it shook out and why you're doing what you're doing in what is the future, quote unquote.
I don't really know a whole lot about the storyline. I'm pretty open about the fact that I've dabbled. I guess Hyrule Warriors is the most that I've played a Zelda game.
Calamity happens.
Calamity does happen. Calamity is all over the place. But there were some things that they did announce here that I thought was pretty cool. Like, I think the fact that it's focused on Princess Zelda is awesome, that we're seeing more games focused on her and not Link. No shade to Link, but like, I don't know, maybe it's just like, I'm a girl, so being able to be the girl main character is just sick. So,
and you are right. There is like additional mechanics in this game. Like apparently Koroks can join the fight, which is super cool, because if you don't know what a Korok is, they're like these little weak little plant things that
they look like Pikmin almost.
But they're so helpless. You have to carry them around in Tears of the Kingdom to get them to their friend. And now they're fighting with you. Hell yeah. Let's go. That part was cool. And then also the ability to use the Zonai devices in your battle. That also adds an element of, I guess, interest to me. But I don't know.
There were also like sync strikes where depending on what ally you had with you, you know, you could have different synced attacks. So I feel like that can give some variety and spice of life to the game as well. I don't know.
I hope so. When this comes out, I'm going to keep my eye on it because I am a big Zelda fan as a whole. So it comes out November 6th. If this gets great reviews, I'll probably take back everything I say and play it.
I mean, it's split screen, and I feel like we're always looking for split screen games. Although we are eating right now. Like, there's a bunch of split screen stuff coming out. Like, the Borderlands 4 game just dropped, and there's a bunch of other split screen co-op games that I feel like have been launching lately. So we've been cooking, we've been eating good lately. But eventually, I feel like we probably will. We will put this. You're laughing at me, but we're always looking for split screen. We're also going to be getting Dragon Quest VII Reimagined February 5th, 2026. I don't really know a whole lot about the Dragon Quest franchise, but I don't know. This seemed cool, I guess, if you're into it.
It's an exploring turn-based combat type system game. They're kind of repetitive to me. If you're into it, great. If not, great. It's coming to the Switch too. Get hyped.
Running through a few other smaller announcements before we really get into some of the meat and potatoes. There was an announcement that Fatal Frame 2 Crimson Butterfly remake will be coming in early 2026. And literally my only note when we were watching this trailer was just hard no in all capitals, because this is just not for me. But if you like horror stuff, man, this looks real spooky. So I guess get ready for that. That's coming. There's also going to be, I might be mispronouncing this as well, Soika Game Planet. So this is that fruit matching game that's coming in winter. I don't know. That looks fun. I don't know. That seems like a very casual, just fun little puzzly game. And now the really big meat and potato topics. Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. And this is when we don't often, we miss illegal, don't get me wrong, but like we don't often feel the hole in our podcasting. But this is one time where I feel like he would be screeching into the microphone.
I can feel it.
Okay,
so
yeah,
hard.
Fill me, because don't fill me. But the only thing that I really got out of this was, you're on a motorcycle, bitch. And that's all I had.
Yeah, so this drops December 4th. It opens with Samus on a motorcycle, and it's not just like you're just as a cutscene. No, like you're shooting, you're moving, you're
like
cruising.
vroom, motherfucker.
So we're getting introduced into new mechanics, which is really great. The other thing we saw is we got another look at the red suit, which looks phenomenal. Red's my favorite color, guys. So just, I don't even need details. Just I'm happy to see that.
I have a bone to pick with this, though. In this trailer, there's like these, they look like ice puppies. And like, dude, I don't want to shoot puppies.
They're bad ice puppies, though.
I don't care. There's no such thing as a bad puppy. And like, no. If a game makes me shoot a dog, I'm immediately mad.
What if you have a dog and that dog is attacking your dog? Boom. Ice puppy's going down.
Okay, but does she have a dog?
Sure.
I'm yet to be seen.
Her dogs are barking, as you call it. She was standing too long.
Dogs are barking.
So the other thing we got is we got a look at Silex, who looks like to be one of the main bads. That was that guy at the end. He's one of the other bounty hunters that has been introduced in previous games. So it was exciting to get another look at them. And this game just looks clean. I'm very excited for this. I really need to buckle down and play through all the Metroid Primes on the big screen like an adult, because it's very hard for me to do it on the handheld mode. It just takes away from my field of view, and I think also in turn takes away from the experience. So get hyped for this December 4th.
We also got a look at the new DLC for Donkey Kong Bananza, and part of the DLC is...
Paid DLC.
I guess paid DLC. Part of the DLC is you'll be opened up to DK Island, so you'll be able to explore, catch up with some of your favorite Donkey Kong characters. But what I was really excited about was the Emerald Rush addition to the game, and this is part of the DLC. And
I don't understand this.
This seemed like it's adding a roguelike element to the game. You're basically trying to speedrun and collect as many emeralds as possible, but then you're able to collect power-ups and abilities and stuff to make your run go smoother and get farther in the run. And then when you fail, you're back at the beginning and all of your, upgrades and stuff are wiped out. So it's essentially a roguelike type element to Donkey Kong Bonanza. And I think that's pretty cool. I think it's cool that you're adding another type of gameplay and segment to the game. We have not played it. We don't have a Switch 2 yet. But I don't know. I think this seems pretty cool.
And this feature is only unlocked to you if you beat the main storyline.
Correct.
Now, the reason why I don't understand this is because the reason why you're trying to collect all these emeralds and get further and further is to basically earn more fashion statements and statues. It's all like vanity related thing, and it doesn't progress any kind of story or anything. And that's why I struggle with, if you've beaten the game, why are you going to pay just to earn clothes and stuff that...
I don't think that's what you're paying for. I think that's just a perk. I think you're paying for DK Island, and I think you're paying for this roguelike type part of the game. I think that there are people who will spend $5, $10, $15 to buy a roguelike game that is basically this, except it doesn't have the Donkey Kong wrapper in it. And so I think being able to then buy different fashions...
With that pitch, okay, makes sense to me.
It's just adding some longevity to the game, and then being able to, buy different fashions just gives you a reason to keep playing and coming back.
Okay, fair enough.
That's my sell on it. That's how I saw it, at least. I don't know. They could have easily just released it as a separate game, Donkey Kong Emerald Rush, but instead it's just going to be a DLC. And I think that's pretty neat.
Yeah, okay, agreed. So the next topic.
This is big.
This is the entire showcase. This was Pokémon Pokopia, and it opens with Ditto turning into a human.
This is honestly...
This is
incredible.
Lore breaking.
Yeah, this is awesome.
This is what we call in the biz a canon event. The lore, at least the fan lore, is that Ditto is a failed Mew experiment, and that's why it can transform. It's got similar color, etc., etc. But no, what this tells me, guys, is Ditto is a perfected.
It is the ultimate Pokemon
life form, because Mew, while it can transform into other Pokemon, it cannot just transform singular limbs. That's what this Ditto did. This Ditto, as you're traversing your island to kind of grow it and form it. And
so hold on, you're getting into the lore pretty deep heavy, but we haven't explained to the people what this game is.
Yeah, I'm trying to tell.
Okay.
So as you're traversing the island in this game, the goal is to mold your island to help bring more Pokemon to it and kind of cultivate the land and make it your own.
It's basically Pokemon Animal Crossing.
And as Ditto is interacting with these Pokemon, it gets new abilities. Like its arms turn to like these tentacle vine whippy things to grow grass, or it can squirt out of its mouth, or it learns like cut and it gets Scyther hands to cut things, or it gets Hitmonchamp fist to break things. But it's only ever singular body parts, and that's why this is the ultimate life form.
Honestly, of all of the games that we have seen for the Switch 2, so this is going to be a Switch 2 exclusive coming out in 2026. This might sell me a console, and I know that sounds so bizarre, but this, like Animal Crossing, when I discovered it, Animal Crossing New Horizons was basically like my introduction to crack. And that crack being, farming sim, island building type games, cozy gaming. And now you're telling me I can be this deranged ditto human thing.
Ultimate life form.
Yes. And basically have an Animal Crossing experience in a Pokemon themed world. And then instead of having Tom Nook running around, I just have like Bulbasaur and Pikachu.
Tentacles.
And yeah, that too, I guess. I love literally everything about this. And this is the stupidest game that might be a console seller.
Here's the most horrifying part about this world.
You're really into this Ditto stuff.
Absolutely. If you look closely, there were other humanoid Dittos on the island, like multiples.
I did not see that.
They were spreading.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Was there like a co-op element to this maybe? And that's why there were other Dittos?
Even if it's co-op, that's 2 now. We're done. 2026, guys, it's coming.
You thought AI was coming for you. No, it's Ditto.
It's humanoid Dittos. Watch out.
Yeah, so I'm actually super excited, and this might be the thing that pushes me over to the edge to look at Techtic and be like, hey.
I mean, no arguments for me. I would buy this game in a heartbeat.
And a Switch 2?
Sure.
All right. We also got another look at Pokémon Legends Z-A. The Switch 2 version will be coming. I feel like we didn't see a whole lot new here except some new Mega Evolutions, which I know, Techtic, you have some beef with.
I have a lot of beef for this.
Okay. Give me your beef. I want to hear your beef.
The major talking point is we got introduced to Chestnut, Delphox, and Greninja's Mega Evolutions. Great. Chestnut and Delphox look pretty cool. I'm very happy with it. Greninja, they just put them upside down. Fine, whatever. But the beef is how you get the Mega Stone for each of these. It is not just part of the story. You have to be participating in ranked battles.
Hate that.
And so, again, this is just that online stuff that takes away from just the regular story. When you played Pokemon X and Y, if you started with Charizard or Charmander, you got a Charizard Megastone. Like it's built into the story. That's who you were your favorite. That's who you play with. That's who you got. It was great. This Stones, it's kind of like the Terramax raids, and I'm so over that. I want just it to be in the story. And if you have an event or a mystery gift, great. Like that's where it should start and stop. I don't like this ranked battle nonsense. I'm not good. I'm not fucking studying all of my moves. I just want to play my story offline.
You know what's going to piss me off even more than that, though? I love Pikachu. I am shameless. I like my cute Pokemon. I love Meryl. I love Pikachu. And Raichu is going to get 2 Mega Evolutions, but you can't get it unless you buy some paid DLC. And that is the paid DLC that makes me angry. Like, why am I paying for 2 Mega Evolutions? What are we doing? The game's not even out yet. Just put it in the game. That's dumb.
The Mega Dimension paid DLC.
Yeah, I hate that. If the game is not out already and you already have these designed, don't make me pay for it.
That's what I'm talking about. It felt very like...
But like at least with Donkey Kong Bonanza's paid DLC, the game has been out for a while and now this is new additional stuff. Pokemon Legends Z-A is not even out yet.
The game has been out for a while, as in only a couple of months. Like,
okay, but whatever.
It's not like, hey, we're gonna revitalize this thing. It's like we just want to scrape a little bit more out of you, and it's just I'm so over being just squeezed dry with my wallet. I want to buy all these things. I want to play all these things, but it's just
the economy, man.
Yeah, in this economy. It's so disheartening, and like, I'm not gonna lie to you, Raichu X and Y looked pretty sweet.
They did. They look so cool, and I don't want to pay for them. I'm so sorry, Raichu. Love you. Moving forward, past our DLC rants, we did get announcements for Monster Hunter Stories 3 Twisted Reflection.
This was the first Monster Hunter in a long time that I've been into.
You're like riding dragons and stuff, and I've never played a Monster Hunter game, but this kind of got me a little bit. The
specific thing that got me in this one is the boss fights have a health bar. if you've ever played any of the standard Monster Hunters, you're like, please let this hit fucking kill it. Please, please, please. I can't take it anymore. And it's a guessing game, especially as the bosses get harder, it's almost like a punishing amount of hits. With having a health bar, and like this is more of an exploration game with some Monster Hunter fighting, and it's got a health bar, this looks actually fun to me. This looks like it's something I would enjoy, and it's playable, and I don't need to rely on basically what is raids with my friends to make any kind of progress. This looked great.
Moving on to another one of Nerdbomber's hard nose, Resident Evil Requiem got announced, and this is the next official entry in the Resident Evil franchise. I believe it's going to be the 9th game. This will be coming out February 27th. Honestly, the story looked a little bit compelling, but I still don't like scary stuff. And I'm not going to lie. So I believe this is coming out as a Switch exclusive, at least to start. Graphically, compared to some of the other Resident Evil games that have come out recently, I feel like this did a bad job of showcasing the power of the Switch 2 because it kind of looked mid. It looked like they really dialed back on the graphical resolution. And I feel like,
I agree on the graphical resolution. We did talk about the original release trailer previously. And so this extended look, I agree, was a lot more selling to me. In the previous look, it just looked like an angsty teen. They didn't really focus on like what she became and how she's a detective and things like that. And so I really wish that this was the announcement trailer when it first dropped. But beggars can't be choosers. So I agree. While it did look scary, it did have much more compelling points to it. But yeah, the graphical capability could have been showcased a bit better.
And also, just unless you play it, still a hard no from me. And last but not least, to round out the final announcement, and I feel like this was pretty big, we got a look at a new Fire Emblem entry called Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave. And this will be coming out in 2026. If you're not familiar with the franchise, turn-based RPG. Techtic was super hyped, so I'm going to throw it over to him. I feel like I've played a Fire Emblem game, but it was a really long time ago, and I don't remember.
At the very
much.
least, a lot of people, at least in my circle, were introduced to some of the Fire Emblem characters in Super Smash Bros. Melee.
Gotcha.
So then, and that's kind of the tell for me. The first character we saw, I was like, oh, this is Fire Emblem. This game looks great. The animation looks clean. The character design looks great. Even the like set pieces look awesome.
I was kind of surprised you were into this though, because I don't really see you as a turn-based RPG type guy.
Pokemon is a turn-based RPG.
Yeah, but like this kind of tactical RPG, you don't really get into. I've seen you try to play them before and you bounce off of them pretty quick.
It depends which ones. Fire Emblem I've always had kind of a soft spot for because of how I was introduced to Marth. But yeah, this looked good. And like I said, the main thing that was drawn to me was the almost like Greek looking, like kind of Hercules-y looking character design, and it just looked very good. And there are some characters being reintroduced, and I'm on board on this one. It comes out 2026, so get a lot of stuff coming out next year. Get hyped.
So that's basically everything that they announced during the Nintendo Showcase, or the Nintendo Direct rather. Like I said, this was a big episode, lots of stuff that we had to cover. Let us know. We're on Blue Sky. I'm at ownerdbomber.bsky.social. He's at techtic.bsky.social. Let us know what we missed. Yell at us for having wrong opinions. I always love getting yelled at for wrong opinions, and I do have a lot of them, and I will own that.
She's into weird stuff.
I apparently am into weird stuff. I like Ditto. Here we go. Before we head out for the week, we gotta get into what are you up to
Wednesday.
Techtic, I'll throw it over to you. What have you been up to this Wednesday?
Nerdbomber and I went to the Great White North and saw a Noah Khan concert. And I gotta say, shout out to Steven, because I did, at least for the majority of the show, I did the dehydrate myself, lock in bladder method. And I could have made it the whole way, but there was like a sweet spot opening to just quick hit the porta potty and get back to the show. But boy was I ready. And it is so fascinating when you go to an outdoor concert, because like on one hand, it's like very party-esque and everyone's having a good time, but heat strokes are basically imminent. And it felt like to me, every time someone would go down, it was like, hang on, pause, chill. We're gonna chat with like the stage people so that they can have privacy. And it's always a really cool sense of community when you have like 20,000 people and everyone is in alignment looking out for each other. And, shout out to looking out for each other. So that was a really cool experience for me.
Yeah, and it actually really inspired me too. So one of the artists that we saw was Miles Smith, and goddamn, if his bassist didn't like captivate me. He was having such a fun freaking time on stage, and it inspired me that night. I went back to our Airbnb and I finally committed and I bought the bass guitar that I've been pleading with people to tell me what to buy. I just pulled the trigger and I got one that looked cool because he had a bass guitar that looked really cool and he was just kind of jumping around and having fun. So that is in my future. I'm planning to be jumping around and having fun in the near future.
Do it.
I did it.
Do it, lady.
I'm waiting for it to come in and I will be doing that. So Jam Band coming soon. Stay tuned.
So is that what you've been up to?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, a lot of our week was surrounded by going on that trip and seeing that concert. And Noah Kahan is fantastic. If you haven't seen him live, definitely recommend that you do. He sounds great in person, just like the studio album. Ooh, no notes. Such a great time.
No notes.
No notes. And on that no note, we wish you a fantastic week. We'll see you next week for another riveting episode. And until then, stay safe and keep on podcasting.